Alright, this is Pre-Algebra Unit 11 test review. I will work step by step through every single one of these problems to make sure you are prepared for your test tomorrow, okay? Make sure before you watch this video that you have tried this on your own. You have tried this entire packet on your own, because if I'm sitting here going through it and all you're doing is copying down my answers, okay, it's not going to be helpful and you're not going to be prepared. So please make sure that you have at least attempted all of these problems, and you are simply using this video as a tool to check your answers, or if you're really stuck on one problem, as a tool to kind of get a head start and see how to do it. Okay, so for this first one, for numbers 1 and 2, it is asking you, it is asking you to combine like terms, okay? And what I mean by that is simply you circle your terms that are like, okay? So 5m and plus 5m, they both have the same base and the same exponent. In this case, the exponent would be 1. Then I have minus z plus 3e. Neither of those have a like term, but they still have to be included in your simplified solution. Okay, so 9m plus 5m is 14m minus z minus 3e. Okay, that is your final answer. Number 2, once again, I need to combine my like terms. Okay, so I'm going to start with my x's. I have x plus 6x, and that gives me 7x. Okay, then I have, I'm going to get a different color. Then I have minus 5z plus 3z plus 3z. Okay, so minus 5, and this is when I just add their coefficients. Minus 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. So 1z is the same thing as plus z. This 4 up here, I can't forget about it. It doesn't have anything to combine with, but it just adds on as plus 4. So that would be your final answer for number 2. Number 3, I need to simplify. Okay, keep in mind there is no equal sign here. Okay, so I'm not solving for anything. But the first thing I see right off the bat is that I need to distribute. So I need to distribute the 7 to both terms inside. So I have 3t plus 7 times 2 is 14t minus 21. From there, I need to combine my like terms. I see that 3t and plus 14t both have t's, so I can combine those to say 17t minus 21, and then I'm finished. Number 4, simplify and solve. So you will notice that this one has an equal sign, so therefore I need your answer to be an x equals something. Okay, so but first thing I need to do, I see that I need to combine like terms on one side of the equal sign. Okay, so 9p plus 3p is 12p. So I have 12p equals a negative 48. Okay, that looks like a pretty simple equation to solve. Divide both sides by 12. And I'm left with p equals negative 4. Remember, when you are solving an equation, when the equation has an equal sign, you must have a check step. Okay, and the first step of my check step is to write my original problem. 9p plus 3p equals negative 48. Then I'm plugging in p equals 4 up here, so I have 9 times negative 4 plus 3 times negative 4 equals 48. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36, plus negative 12 equals negative 48, and negative 48 equals negative 48, and I'm checked out. Moving on to number 5. This is pretty tricky. You cannot forget about my favorite, the distributive property. Okay? If I can get this to stay. There we go. Okay? So the distributive property, you must distribute what's on the outside to everything on the inside. So 4 to 9, 4 to 8x, and 4 to 4x. Also 2 to 4 and 2 to 3x. So when we distribute, we multiply. So 4 times 9 would give me 36, plus 4 times 8x would give me 36x. 4 times 4 would give me 16x, plus 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 times 3x is 6x. And I forgot to mention this to you first hour, but this negative 152 should be a positive 152. If you leave it as a negative 152, the answer will not be pretty. So please remember to change that negative 152 to a positive 152. Okay, from there I notice that on each side of my equation, oops, I need equals 152. And on the left side of my equation, I need to start combining like terms because there's more than one x and more than one constant on each side. So, negative 36x plus 16x plus 6x will give me 54x. Then I have 36 plus 8, which is 44. So 54x plus 44 equals 152. Okay, from there I just subtract 44 from both sides, and I'm left with 54x equals 152 minus 44 is 108. Divide both sides by 54, and you get x is equal to 2. Okay, cannot forget a check step because this is an equation. You need to have a check step, and I do not have room, but I'm going to try. I need a smaller pen. Alright, so over here is going to be my check step. And I'm going to get a different color. Original problem, okay? So 4, 9 plus 8 times 2 plus 4 times 2. Running out of room. There we go. Plus 2 times 4 plus 3 times 2 equals 152. There's a 2 there, but it keeps deleting it. Okay, so then I have 4, 9, 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. So 24 plus 9 gives me 34. Okay, so it's 4 times 34 plus 2. 4 times 3 plus 2 is 6. That would be 10 equals 152. So off to the side I need to do 4 times 34, which gives me 136. Ooh, I've messed up somewhere. I apologize. This should actually be 132. When I add all these up, I should get 132. Plus 2 times 10 is 20 equals 152. And 152 equals 152, and it checks out. Alright, scrolling down to number 6. See if I can make this a little bigger now. Perfect. Number 6 says 3 plus 5x minus 2x equals negative 12. First thing I need to do is I see that I need to combine like terms on one side of my equal sign. So I have, I have minus 5x plus 2x, which gives me 3 plus 3x equals negative 12. Okay, then I need to get all the numbers on one side and all the variables on the other. So I see a number and a variable, I need to get rid of this 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and I'm left with 3x equals negative 12 minus 3, okay, which if I key flip change is negative 12 plus a negative 3, which gives me negative 15. Make sure you pay attention to integer rules on your test. They will be there. Divide both sides by 3, and I get x equal to negative 5. Since I'm solving an equation, I need to have a check step. So my check is original problem, 3 plus 5x minus 2x equals negative 12. 3 plus 5 times negative 5 plus 2, minus 2. Minus 2 times negative 5 equals negative 12. So I have 3 plus negative 25 plus 10, since it's negative 2 times negative 5 equals negative 12. And then 3 plus negative 25 is negative 22 plus 10 equals negative 12, and negative 12 equals negative 12, and it checks. Number 7. Okay, number 7 is my first problem on this review that has fractions, and I know how much you all love fractions. So I see that I don't need to distribute, I see that I don't need to, but I do see that I need to combine fractions. And the way that I do this is multiplying both sides of the equation by the least common denominator. The least common denominator is the least number that 4, 8, and 16 all evenly go into. And in this case, it's 16. So I need to multiply both sides by 16. Okay? And off to the side, I'm going to do my work, because really I'm doing 16 times x over 4 and 16 times 5 over 8. So which is 16 over 1 times x over 4, which gives me 16x over 4, which simplifies to 4x. Okay, 16 over 1 times 5 over 8. I'm doing the second one right here. Okay, 16 times 5 divided by 8. Okay, it should give me 80 over 8, which simplifies to 10. So I have 4x plus 10. And on this one, when my denominator is the same as the number I'm multiplying by, excuse me, this cancels out and I'm left with the numerator. So my simplified equation, getting rid of all these fractions, is 4x plus 10 equals 14. Okay, and from there, just subtract 10 from both sides. I have 4x equals 4. Divide both sides by 4, and I'm left with x is equal to 1. When you do a check step, when the problem has fractions, I am 100% okay if you start with the check step right there. Don't worry about doing it in the fraction mode, because it'll take you forever. Okay, so my check step should be 4x plus 10 equals 14. Plug in x, 4 times 1 plus 10 equals 14. 4 plus 10 equals 14, and then 14 equals 14, and it checks. Moving on to number 8. Number 8, I see that I have variables on both sides, and I know that variables can only be on one side, so I need to get them all over to the left side. So I need to subtract 10b from both sides, which leaves me with 5b equals negative 10. Simply divide both sides by 5, and b is equal to negative 2. Check step, original problem. 15b equals 10b minus 10. 15 times negative 2 equals 10 times negative 2 minus 10, which is negative 30 equals negative 20 minus 10, and negative 30 equals negative 30. Check. Number 9. Number 9, I see that I need to combine like terms before I do anything. Okay, I need to see that I need to combine the like terms, and I have negative 8t minus 6t. Excuse me, remember those integer rules. Negative 8 minus 6 is actually negative 14. Okay, do not tell me that's negative 2. It's actually negative 14. T minus 12 equals 18 minus 24. Okay, so now I need to get all the, 24t. I need to get all the variables to one side and all the constants to the other. So I am going to add 24. What happened? Come back. I'm going to add 24t to both sides. And I'm left with negative 10t minus 12 equals 18. Add 12 to both sides. And I'm left with negative 10t equals 30. Divide both sides by negative 10, and t is equal to negative 3. Because of time's sake, I'm going to skip this check step, but you need to do a check. I only have 1 minute left before this video cuts me off. And it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to start a new video for numbers 10 and numbers 11. Okay, so be looking for the second link that I sent you for problems number 10 and 11, because 10's pretty tricky. See you in a second.